6. Okay, let's stand for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we move forward, we have Mr. Obi on the phone and President Pizzabone, who's actually unable to attend the meeting. We're going to make some changes to accommodate some of these people on the phone, and we're going to go through and we're going to bypass reports tonight, and we're going to move forward with some action items and some other things. So first we're going to have the superintendent's report, then we're going to have the public to be heard on agenda items, and then we have a candidate for a nomination for a candidate on the board, and then we're going to go through all the action items. Okay? All right, so John, you start with
Members of the board, one of the real joys of being a superintendent is being able to go to a number of different programs and ceremonies where individuals in the school district are honored for their service or their accomplishments, whether that be a teacher or a student. One of those special events is the Eagle Scout Court of Honor. And we're very fortunate to have individuals in our schools who have reached the highest level of scouting through the Eagle Court of Honor, and we have one of those individuals here tonight. Hunter McGarry is here, and his Eagle Award is unique and special because, for a number of reasons, but chiefly because it will be benefiting the students and the staff at Cheston Elementary School. So while I'm talking, you'll see photographs of the project. There was that pond in the middle of the courtyard at Cheston for many years, and the pond stopped functioning. And one of the things that he wanted to do was to honor the place where he went to elementary school and to give something back. And he and his family and friends went in there and refurbished this entire area and brought it back to life. So Hunter, please stand up, and would you like to come over to the podium? Please stand up so everyone can see. But on behalf of the school board and the community in general, your contribution here is very, very much valued by all of us, and I'm sure it will be by the kids, and it has been. Was it functioning? It was functioning prior to the end of the school year?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. And I see the fish in there, and none of the kids tried to catch them yet, did they? But Hunter's event is this Sunday at 2:30 at St. Paul's Lutheran Church, and I'm hoping that I'm scheduled to be there and present him. Should I give you the certificate now, or would you like me to wait?
We can wait.
I'll give it to you on Sunday. How's that? Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Hunter or any comments?
Hunter's a remarkable young man. He
Yes.
was at Cheston while I was there, and he, as a young adult, is still shy like he was as a young man. But don't let that facade fool you. He's a remarkable young man and was always a great student. So we're very proud of you, Hunter.
Sure. Thank you, Ms. Diaz. I appreciate your contribution there. So, on behalf of all of us, Hunter, thank you so much, and extend our thanks to your family and friends who helped you with this project, and I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. All right.
Thank
Great.
you, John. Okay, is there anyone from the public to be heard on agenda items? Agenda items only. Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on to nomination of candidate. So we do have one candidate this evening, and I'd like to have a motion to nominate George Shando as a Regional 3 School Director.
Just to confirm, it was only one?
There was only one. Yes, correct.
Also moved.
Second.
Okay, we got moved and second.
Yes.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? All opposed? Any opposed? Okay, moving forward. Congratulations, Mr. Shando. I'm going to delegate the oath to Mr. Foyne, so if you would come up here because you're taking your seat tonight. That's what they told me. If you have something in the oven too bad, you're stuck here tonight.
Okay, Mr. Shendo, this is long and complicated, so listen carefully. I state your name.
I, George Shando,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
and I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
Sign here.
Okay, we're going to go to, just going to note that there was an executive session as noted on the agenda. Okay, we're going to move forward to action items. So we're going to take 8A, 9A through T, including the addendum of J, 10A through E, 11A through F.
No, don't do that. They stop at 10.
Okay, 10A through E is the last one for the first
I'll make a
passage.
motion for all that.
Okay. Motion? Second?
Wait, how far are we going now?
We're only going to 10E. We have a motion, we have a second. Discussion?
Callie, I will be abstaining for 9P. Thank you.
I will need to abstain from 8.
Okay. So we have a motion, we have a second. Discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you, sorry. Any opposed? Okay. Motions, actions carried. Okay, moving on to 11.
Billy, if I can interject for 1 second. We do have Deidre Hakimi in the audience, who is one of our
Okay, yep.
transfers, new hires, however you want to say it, for our district. Deidre was a teacher for us at the elementary level for many years, and we're excited to have her as part of our high school administrative staff as the 9th grade principal.
Thank you. Welcome, Deidre. Thank you. Okay, yeah. Okay, moving on. Okay, we're taking 11A through F, 12, finance, A and B, 13, A through C.
You want to do all that?
Yes. Our motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, we can start talking, if you start with the Tracy Capital Project.
Okay, that's 11A.
Right, which was great that it came in less than what we expected. But on the other hand, like when we took the tour of the building, we looked at, can we not really complete it before we move the students back? You know, thinking about it and looking at it for the dollars, because when we had the different columns, there was about $3 million that they estimated that we weren't doing improvements there. I know when we walk through, Tim feels he can get them done, but maybe we should look at the schedule and include that as part of here or that we should continue to, maybe we should bid out those items, so that we can get that building completed in its entirety at one point. Along with that, I know we didn't bid the cameras. Now, I understand that's going to be coming as a separate bid, I believe. Is that correct, Mike?
That's correct.
So that we get to see what that's going to be. But those are some things with that one. When you look at,
Excuse me, Bob, if I could, do you mind if I interrupt just for
No,
a second?
please.
Is it possible, Mike, could you give us, so the public is aware of the difference between the estimated project and the bids that came in?
Yeah, the estimated project was around $10 million, and we're looking right now, again, before cameras or any additional bid work, we're looking to approve about $6.6 million.
So there's a significant difference in our favor here between what we expected and anticipated to cost to renovate Tracy with the infrastructure that we planned. And so what I hear you saying is that we may want to look at that and use some of that difference in taking care of some of the cosmetic and other infrastructure improvements in the building itself.
correct, and considering that we did, what helped to get the price down too, is that we were bidding this, per se, off prime time season.
Yes, that's
And,
correct.
as we talk about this and do the scheduling, so I'd like to, include some motions here for some of this too, depending where the discussion goes. At the same time, that instead of worrying about moving forks out this coming February or March, that in turn, let's delay them, move them out over the summer, and maybe we get the same good bidding and everything by them also starting at a different time frame. Okay, when we're off prime time again. Now, I recognize that starts to impact the overall thinking process of when the students would move out of Palmer. But if it impacts them only by 3 months, we get good pricing and everything, and we don't have to think about in a couple of years of going back, and you have contractors on site, it seems to make, I think, a lot of sense of doing those types of things. So that's where I'm coming from on that. Paxton knows we had the change orders, we've reviewed them and everything as a team. The construction projects for Cheston and Palmer is to hold the hearing process so that we can move forward with those 2 projects as well. And it starts to get the PlanCon series lift going, and it also provides the dollar figures. And then, we submit PlanCon Part 1, and we've talked about this, and the only issue I see there is if we change class size or the size of the classrooms, not class size of the classrooms, we could potentially end up with an additional $750,000 on a building. But I will share that this past week I did go out and toured a couple buildings, and the rooms seemed a little more spacious. And I don't want to get into all the details and the measurements right here, but I think it's something that we have to consider so that if we're approving PlanCon 1 tonight, recognizing that we may be making changes to that in the future. So those are my comments and thoughts. I would like to add in there an additional motion if it gets a second on it, and that is to consider going out for bid to do those extra things for Tracy before we move the students out here. So I'll put that on the table.
Bob, if I could just add,
Please.
You're asking for a motion to consider to do those other things?
No, a motion to say, let's put together a plan. In other words, start a plan.
Right,
Yes.
right. Okay. I'm saying we can do that at our committee level.
Well, this way it's on the table.
Yeah,
We can talk about that, that's tomorrow morning, right?
No, that's not.
Well, then it's not tomorrow morning.
2
Get to
weeks.
sleep in, what?
2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay. So bring that up then, for sure. So this
Right.
motion is to bid this as awarding these bids.
No, the motion is to add that as an additional motion.
No,
Directing that we-
right now we're voting on what we're,
Yeah,
Your motion to consider.
I can do that.
I suggest you
Yes.
take what's on here, and that's something else other than that's
Okay.
okay. So we had a motion, we had a second. That was the discussion. All in favor?
Wait, I have a question. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Mike, because we're doing 12 dates.
But hold on.
So the 10 million that we're borrowing is already included in this year's budget.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't get there, so I got more to go too, go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
The 10 million of borrowing, if you recall, this was the first leg of the recommended borrowing concept. And because we were going to do Tracy this summer, we needed to make $10 million for the borrowing. We needed to, so that was going to be our first leg. So any other future borrowing will come in front of the board as we said it would.
Right, what I meant was this amount here, the 10 million is already included in the increase.
Right, oh
Last year's
yeah,
budget.
absolutely. Well, again, that increase is $800,000 a year in the budget for the next 4 years, if we're going to continue to borrow. But this year's budget already includes it.
Mike, when you look at the borrowing there and everything, how much have we saved so far out of Paxos?
And you were seeing.
Okay, we budgeted and put out there, we borrowed up to $20 million.
We had a balance from the previous bonds of around 10, and we borrowed another 10. And I think we're spending at about maybe 17 for Pax, give or take.
Okay, and in our general reserve fund, how much do we have?
The capital reserve in the general account, just under 5 million.
And the reason we're borrowing 10 is to cover Tracy.
Cover Tracy at the estimate, and actually, because of the refunding over the last couple of years, the most we can borrow at this time is $10 million for this fiscal year, for this calendar year.
This calendar year.
Yes,
And then next calendar year, we can borrow.
correct. We can borrow it once a week, depending on the projects that we approve or recommend for approval.
So what would happen, let's say we, looking at this speculating, we don't borrow this money, right? We wait until January, so we lost the capability of borrowing $10 million this year. So that impacts then that some of the monies we had in the budget don't get used for that. But come January, based on depending where we are, how much can we borrow next year?
Well, if we're going to spend $7 million for Tracy for this project, and it's going to be done by February, we're going to need that money in the bank, or a good portion of it. We don't have that left over. So we need to borrow to make sure we can have the money to pay Tracy project.
So we have $3 million left over from PAC, we have $5 million in the general construction fund. Plus,
Capital reserve, yeah.
What do we have in our normal reserve?
Fund balance, unassigned, about $5 million.
Well, we have a parameter resolution to borrow up to 100 million? 105. So just to make clear, if we issue more than $10 million in any year, then we have kind of a little bit of a rate penalty. Because you only issue $10 million of so-called bank qualified debt, which basically, when bank qualified, basically means the banks get a favorable tax treatment on it, which leads to a lower rate. So we can borrow $95 million if we want, but we won't. There'll be a slight rate impact.
If I can ask, at what point can there be a discussion on the $3 million savings from Paxos and the $5 million savings that you already have in capital reserve projects? At what point can there be discussion about utilizing that to lower the amount that you're borrowing?
That could be at any time. But I do hesitate to, in a district this size with a $5 million capital reserve, I hate to put that out. I mean, that's a roof. So a boiler, I'd hate to really dip into that capital reserve. That would not be my recommendation. I think the safe bet at this point, if we're approving the Tracy project, I don't think it does us any harm to get a bank note at this point for the $10 million with the favorable rates that we're looking at. Seeing how this project is already in the works and started. And we can, George, to answer your question, we have time before we're going to borrow the next allotment. So we can open up those discussions and maybe bring our finance guys back here and give a little more time and discussion to the different options.
Thank you.
No, wait, so you're saying because we can have a reserve of what, about 8% of our budget? So 8% of the revenue, it would be around $12 million or so?
Correct. But the unassigned is 5 million. The unassigned fund balance. We have the assigned for PSERS, for post-employment benefits, where we can, by board resolution, change that and use that money. But right now, we've maintained that balance, been pretty consistent for to use every year. If you recall, every budget calls for appropriation from that assigned balance.
Right. Okay. For next meeting, we can get a list of all the assignments out of that.
But we can. I have it. You can go back to the budget presentation, but I'll certainly send the board the actual schedule.
Any more questions on the on the motion? More
So the
discussion?
motion going forward is just things as they are right now?
That's correct.
Yeah.
11A through F, 12, A and B, 13, A, B, and C. Yes, that's the motion, that's the second. We're still in discussion. Any more discussion? Okay. All in favor?
All abstain on 11A and B, please, and yes to the rest.
11 C and D, no. And then we need to go back to 9.
Wait, hold on. Jody, 11, C, and D, no. And George, A, and B abstain. You got that? On 11. Okay. Yeah, we only have one.
And I'm going
No.
I'm going to give you another one, 11A. And also on 12B.
Please check in all that. Could you count them up for me? Right. So you have one no on an A, and you have one no on a C and D, and one no on 12B.
You took it all as one group, so it's supposed to.
As long as you can
Right? There's only one no for, there's not multiple no's on each. Right. A and B is a no. Right. So there's one no on 11 A and B. That's still, motion passes. Yep.
Billy,
Yes.
we need to go back to 9A.
No, Jody, I'm not going back. No, I'm kidding. Hold on, let me just say that 11 and 12 and 13 passed. Okay, now, Jody, 9A.
Yes, because we need to make it a motion to approve those 9.
Okay.
And we just took a
Yes,
yes.
we need to approve. Okay, so personnel, 9A is a motion so it's already been passed, but is the motion for approval or denial? Bob, I think you motioned.
Yeah.
Yes.
But what
To-
you say-
Motion to
To
deny.
deny, okay. And you second, right? And so is there any discussion on the denial?
Just want to make sure. it's clear.
Okay. Do I have to go all in favor again? No? All right, we're good. Okay. Thanks for clarifying that. Okay, we're moving on to,
Well, now's when I want to put the
Oh,
motion on, because
yeah.
then we'll see if there's support for the idea of looking at some fluid administration.
so you want a motion on, under the building and grounds, right?
Right.
Okay.
To go ahead and get bids to finish everything else in that building.
On Tracy.
On Tracy.
Okay. So is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Is there any opposed? Okay, motion carries. We're going to talk about that in a few weeks and thank you. Okay, So, let's see here. No, I'm on, I did have 13. So, is there anyone from the public to be heard on non-agenda items? Non-agenda items. Okay, come on up. Sign your name and all your information in there with the name, address. Social security number. No, we don't have to capture that anymore. I'm only kidding.
I don't know if this is the correct time, maybe it should have been under the other public hearings. But I wanted to address the board and I wanted to know if they can give me any answers of what's going on, the changes to the Palmer Elementary School as far as the construction's going. I know they did have a meeting before the zoning board.
Right, we did have that hearing. The proposed project plan that we presented that evening was passed by the zoning board, and I don't know that at this point there's been any further discussion or modification or discussion of any modifications to the plan itself.
I am
You guys-
under the understanding that you were allowed the additional 9 feet for the additional story. Am I correct for that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Correct. Mhm. Yes.
But you know, that there was some talk about turning the school a little bit, putting it different to an angle. There's also have been brought up something, adding additional parking on the far side of the school where like the gymnasium is versus expanding the other parking lot on the other side. Do you know anything in regards to this whatsoever?
No, there were no changes made to that at this point.
No changes
No
made to
changes
that?
made.
Is,
Because there's issues depending how you move and everything else. If you move it one way, you're going to move closer to the homes. It's trying to keep it back further from the
Right.
homes. So that's where that was standing. The other thing is trying to move it down. They ran into issues as they were doing the sample borings and everything. So, you know, looking that to be on solid ground. The only other thing that had been discussed or mentioned was the retention of the underground water, or taking the runoff water and putting it underground versus making a top type of retention pond.
because I am concerned because I am one of those neighbors that would be affected. That's what.
If it came too close?
Yes, it is. It comes too close. I have no problem with the school district. I work with the kids. The teachers are great and everything like that. But I know if it was your house and you came out and you seen the school on top of your house, I don't think you would overly appreciate it either. So,
There's no talk of moving it any closer.
okay. So it's going to be basically staying. And the parking lot now, there was discussion about moving it over to 25 feet within the property line. But there was also discussion to have ample space on the other side. They could add more parking places on the other side. I don't know if that has been brought up or not.
That was if we moved the building the other way.
Okay.
And so that wasn't a consideration then. And the township actually is very cooperative in everything because they're building a new parking lot where the ball fields are putting in.
Correct.
And so that is like some of the overflow parking that can be used then for the recreational, to use the gym or whatever in the school.
Okay, so they can use that for overflow. Now, on the other side of the school, that's the one they were going to change it and expand it 25 feet to go off my property line. Is they still going to do that? You know,
I think,
according to the blueprints there.
I could be wrong on that, but I thought we were not moving the parking lot that's there today.
No.
No,
We
they
weren't
were-
expanding it because of the overflow parking we have on the other
Yeah.
side now.
Okay, so that's been changed according to the temporary blueprints that I got at the regular meeting?
You know what? Give Mr. Simonetta your name and let somebody get back to you on that.
Okay.
That won't be discussed for another 2 weeks.
All right.
But my last understanding was the parking lot where it's at is remaining,
Correct.
and I'll call it the pavement, the driveway that comes out of that down to the street, that
Right.
was going to be replaced with pavers.
Neighbors and grass and.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was the end of that discussion.
Okay. Because I was still under the impression, according to this blueprint,
Yeah.
that this parking lot was going to be eliminated and expanded over because they were going to have the access to the buses going out through there.
No.
No.
That's not it.
So the plans have changed since this temporary one I got back in at the meeting that was held at the Palmer Elementary School.
There hasn't been any update. We really haven't had a meeting that we discussed.
No, we were
anything.
talking about we were talking about the inside the building, huh?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. have to look at what you have there, I don't know.
I will gladly speak with you after the meeting.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
that's, we can look at it after.
Yeah, that's fine.
Perfect.
Okay, that's my only question. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public to be heard on non-agenda?
I don't want to miss an opportunity to share some important news from the library with you.
That's fine, thank you, sorry.
That's okay.
Thanks for your patience.
No, that's okay. I just think that you should know that we are partnering with Easton Area High School. Jennifer Stocker, our director, is working with Lisa Manzo and Deb Safaro. And every student that picks up an iPad this summer will be getting a library card. And that will allow them to access all of the databases that they can use for research through the library. I checked and we spend about $70,000 a year on these databases, and they will now all be available for research to all of your students with iPads.
That's awesome, that's a great learning curve for college too.
It will give them those skills, and it should save your high school library from having to purchase all those databases.
Thank you.
So we're really pleased with that. And I also want you to know that at a special meeting today, our Board of Trustees passed the resolution to restructure the relationship between the school district and the library. We received the final changes on that resolution from Mr. Freund today, and we approved the document that you will also be looking at. We did have to change some dates. There was an error in that that our employees could leave PSERS July 2016, when in fact we didn't receive permission, legal permission from PSERS until April 7th of 2017. So we changed some of those dates from 2016 to 2017 just so that we would be in compliance with the resolution. But it passed today. We have all worked toward this for about 2 years now. It should save the taxpayers in over the long run that library employees will no longer be in the PSERS pension plan at the new hires. Our current employees will remain in it. That promise has been made to them. But new hires will be able not to be enrolled in PSERS, and we will be able to control our medical insurance costs separate from the school district. So we're pleased with both of those pieces of news, and I wanted to share those with you this evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else from the public to be heard on non-agenda? Okay, seeing none, is there any other business from the board? I have nothing. We received a thank you note from Keith Grega, who is thanking us for receiving the Easton Area School District Community Service Scholarship, and he's going to be attending Bucknell in the fall. So it's great. I like those kinds of correspondence. Anything else? Any other business? Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn? Second? All in favor? Okay, adjourned as of